The National Electrical Code, referred to as the NEC, does require electrical contractors to be licensed journeymen to install or maintain signaling or communication conductors in public or private buildings. This requirement is detailed in Article 640 of the NEC, which specifically addresses wiring methods for communications systems. Section 640.2 clearly states that wiring for communication systems must be installed in accordance with Article 640 and must be supervised by a qualified person. Now, understanding what constitutes a qualified person is crucial. The NEC defines a qualified person in Article 100 as someone who possesses the necessary skills and knowledge related to the construction and maintenance of electrical systems. Furthermore, a qualified person must have received adequate safety training to effectively identify and avoid potential hazards involved in electrical work. In practical terms, in most jurisdictions, a licensed journeyman electrician is recognized as meeting the criteria of a qualified person due to their training and experience. Consequently, the general interpretation is that the NEC does require licensed journeyman electricians for the installation and maintenance of signaling or communications conductors within public and private buildings. It is useful to remember that the NEC is a nationally recognized standard, though it doesn't hold the force of law on its own. Instead, local jurisdictions adopt and enforce the NEC, which means that specific requirements can differ from one location to another. Despite these potential local variations, the NEC is commonly regarded as the minimum standard for ensuring electrical safety. Therefore, it is frequently used as the foundation for local electrical codes. Let's delve a bit deeper into the structure and intent behind these regulations. The NEC is updated regularly to reflect advancements in technology and address emerging safety concerns. These updates are crucial in maintaining a safe electrical environment. Article 640 is not just a standalone section, it interacts with other parts of the code. For example, general wiring requirements found in chapters 1 through 4 of the NEC still apply, unless specifically modified by Article 640. The scope of Article 640 includes, but is not limited to, wiring for telephone, telegraph, outside wiring for fire alarm, and central station systems. It's important to consult the specific edition of the NEC adopted by the local jurisdiction, as the requirements can vary between editions. An electrician working with communication systems needs to be familiar with cable types, grounding and bonding requirements, overcurrent protection, and methods of installation. This is why the code emphasizes the role of a qualified person to ensure these systems are installed safely. For example, proper grounding and bonding are crucial to minimize the risk of electric shock and ensure that equipment functions correctly. The NEC contains detailed rules on grounding and bonding, including conductor sizing and acceptable methods. Likewise, overcurrent protection, such as fuses and circuit breakers, is essential to protect wiring and equipment from damage due to overloads or short circuits. The NEC specifies the appropriate size and type of overcurrent protection for different types of circuits and equipment. Moreover, proper installation methods are crucial to prevent physical damage to wiring and ensure the longevity of the system. The NEC provides guidance on acceptable methods of installation, including conduit fill requirements, support spacing, and protection from physical damage. Now let's consider a practical example. Suppose an electrician is installing a new data network in an office building. Firstly, the electrician would need to be familiar with Article 640 of the NEC, as well as any applicable local codes. Secondly, they would need to select the appropriate type of cable for the application, considering factors such as bandwidth requirements and environmental conditions. Thirdly, the electrician would need to install the cable in accordance with the NEC, ensuring proper support, protection, and grounding. Fourthly, they would need to terminate the cable properly, using appropriate connectors and tools. Fifthly, the electrician would need to test the installation to ensure that it meets the required performance standards. The role of the qualified person is not limited to just installation. It also extends to maintenance and repair. This ensures that systems continue to operate safely and effectively over time. Regular inspections and testing can help to identify potential problems before they become major issues. For example, A qualified person might inspect wiring for signs of damage, test grounding connections for continuity, and verify the operation of overcurrent protection devices. Furthermore, the NEC also addresses specific requirements for fire alarm systems. These systems are critical for life safety, and the NEC contains detailed rules for their installation and maintenance. These requirements cover topics such as power supplies, wiring methods, alarm notification appliances, and testing procedures. The goal is to ensure that fire alarm systems are reliable and effective in alerting occupants to a fire. In addition to the technical requirements, the NEC also emphasizes the importance of safety training. A qualified person must have received adequate safety training to identify and avoid hazards. This training should cover topics such as electrical shock hazards, arc flash hazards, and lockout/tagout procedures. By receiving proper training, workers can significantly reduce the risk of accidents and injuries. In summary, the NEC provides a comprehensive set of rules for the installation and maintenance of electrical systems, including communications systems. These rules are designed to ensure electrical safety and protect people and property from hazards. While the NEC is not a law itself, it is widely adopted and enforced by local jurisdictions. Therefore, it is essential for electricians and other electrical workers to be familiar with the NEC and any applicable local codes. The emphasis on a qualified person is central to the NEC framework. It underscores the importance of having trained and knowledgeable individuals overseeing electrical work. These individuals are not just installers, but also problem solvers, diagnosticians, and ultimately, guardians of electrical safety. The NEC is not static. It evolves with technology and changing safety needs. Electricians and other professionals must stay updated on the latest revisions and interpretations to ensure their work continues to meet the highest safety standards. Consider also the environment in which these installations take place. Factors such as temperature, humidity, and the presence of corrosive substances can impact the performance and longevity of electrical systems. The NEC addresses these environmental considerations, providing guidance on selecting appropriate materials and installation methods. For example, in damp or wet locations, the NEC requires the use of waterproof or weather-resistant wiring and equipment. Similarly, in areas where corrosive substances are present, the NEC requires the use of corrosion-resistant materials. These environmental considerations are crucial for ensuring the long-term reliability and safety of electrical systems. Furthermore, the NEC also addresses the issue of electromagnetic interference, referred to as EMI. EMI can disrupt the operation of sensitive electronic equipment, such as computers and communication devices. The NEC provides guidance on minimizing EMI through proper grounding, shielding, and cable routing techniques. These techniques are particularly important in modern buildings, which often contain a large amount of electronic equipment. In conclusion, the NEC is a complex and comprehensive code that covers a wide range of electrical topics. It is essential for electricians and other electrical workers to have a thorough understanding of the NEC and any applicable local codes. By following the requirements of the NEC, electrical professionals can help to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. The role of the qualified person is central to this process. Their knowledge, skills, and training are essential for ensuring that electrical work is performed safely and correctly. Let's turn to some specific examples within Article 640 to illustrate its practical application. Consider a scenario where a new security system is being installed in a commercial building. This system includes cameras, sensors, and a central monitoring station. The wiring for the system falls under the scope of Article 640 as it involves communications circuits. The electrician installing the system would need to ensure that the wiring is installed in accordance with the NEC, including requirements for cable type, grounding, and overcurrent protection. Furthermore, the electrician would need to ensure that the system is properly tested and certified before it is put into service. Another example involves the installation of a telephone system in a residential building. Even though this may seem like a simple task, it still falls under the scope of Article 640. The electrician would need to ensure that the telephone wiring is properly separated from power wiring and that it is properly grounded. They would also need to ensure that the telephone equipment is protected from lightning strikes. These are just a few examples of how Article 640 applies in real-world situations. The key takeaway is that any work involving communications circuit should be performed in accordance with the NEC and under the supervision of a qualified person. This helps to ensure the safety and reliability of these systems. Now let's delve into the definition of qualified person in more detail. The NEC defines a qualified person as someone who has the skills and knowledge related to the construction and maintenance of electrical systems and has received safety training to identify and avoid the hazards involved. This definition is intentionally broad, as the specific qualifications required for a particular task may vary depending on the complexity of the task and the potential hazards involved. In some cases, a licensed journeyman electrician may be required. In other cases, a technician with specialized training in communications systems may be sufficient. The key is that the person performing the work must have the necessary skills, knowledge, and training to do so safely and correctly. One way to demonstrate that a person is qualified is through certification. There are many different certifications available for electrical workers, covering a wide range of topics. Some certifications are specific to communications systems, while others are more general in nature. Having a relevant certification can provide assurance that a person has met certain minimum standards of competence. Another way to demonstrate that a person is qualified is through experience. A person who has many years of experience working with electrical systems is likely to have developed a high level of skill and knowledge. However, experience alone is not always sufficient. It is also important to have formal training and certification. Ultimately, the determination of whether a person is qualified is made by the authority having jurisdiction, referred to as the AHJ. The AHJ is the local government agency responsible for enforcing electrical codes. The AHJ has the authority to inspect electrical work and to require that it be performed by qualified persons. Therefore, it is important to be familiar with the requirements of the AHJ in your local area. In summary, the NEC places a strong emphasis on the use of qualified persons for electrical work. This is because electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to ensure that it is performed safely and correctly. By using qualified persons, the risk of accidents and injuries can be significantly reduced. Let's also touch on the role of manufacturers in ensuring electrical safety. Manufacturers of electrical equipment are responsible for designing and manufacturing products that meet the requirements of the NEC. They must also provide clear and accurate instructions for installing and using their products. These instructions should include information on proper grounding, overcurrent protection, and other safety measures. Furthermore, manufacturers are often required to have their products tested and certified by a third-party testing laboratory. These laboratories, such as Underwriters Laboratories and Intertek, test products to ensure that they meet the applicable safety standards. Products that have been tested and certified are typically marked with a label or listing mark. This mark provides assurance that the product has been evaluated and found to be safe for its intended use. Therefore, it is important to choose electrical equipment from reputable manufacturers and to look for products that have been tested and certified by a third-party laboratory. This can help to ensure that the equipment is safe and reliable. Consider the situation if someone is not qualified and they attempt to perform electrical work. They may not be aware of the potential hazards involved, and they may not know how to properly install and maintain electrical systems. This can lead to a variety of problems, including electrical shocks, fires, and equipment damage. In some cases, unqualified electrical work can even be fatal. Therefore, it is important to always hire a qualified electrician for any electrical work. A qualified electrician will have the necessary training, experience, and certification to perform the work safely and correctly. They will also be familiar with the requirements of the NEC and any applicable local codes. By hiring a qualified electrician, you can protect yourself, your family, and your property from the dangers of unqualified electrical work. The consequences of non-compliance with the NEC can be significant. In addition to the potential for accidents and injuries, non-compliance can also result in fines, legal penalties, and even criminal charges. The AHJ has the authority to inspect electrical work and to issue citations for violations of the NEC. These citations can require that the non-compliant work be corrected, and they can also impose fines. In some cases, the AHJ may even shut down a business or building until the non-compliance is corrected. Therefore, it is important to take the NEC seriously and to ensure that all electrical work is performed in accordance with its requirements. This can help to avoid costly penalties and to protect yourself from legal liability. Remember that the NEC is not just a set of rules, it is a set of guidelines designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. By following these guidelines, electrical professionals can help to create a safer environment for everyone. In summary, the NEC is a comprehensive and essential code for electrical safety. It is important for electricians, electrical contractors, and anyone involved in electrical work to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements. By doing so, they can help to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems and to protect people and property from electrical hazards. Staying informed about changes to the NEC is also important. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and these updates often include significant changes to the requirements. It is the responsibility of electrical professionals to stay abreast of these changes and to ensure that their work complies with the latest edition of the NEC. This can be accomplished by attending training courses, reading industry publications, and consulting with experts in the field.